The man who fired you is with us tonight. He's the superintendent of schools for Mustang County, Nevada. Please welcome Mr. Kenneth Philbrick. Kenneth, why are you persecuting Catherine?
Nick, she violated her moral clauses, and I was just following the rules.
Oh, some rules. Dick, why don't you ask him what he offered me as a way to keep my job?
Okay, I will. What did he offer?
He said I could keep my job if I was willing to recreate the flute scene from Mr. Holland's Penis.
That's a lie. She doesn't have any proof.
Yeah, something tells me she's not lying. Here's a question.
It's been signed by the students, teachers, and the parents.
Even the parents signed a petition.
Well, no, just the dads.
Okay. Well, how about it, Kenneth? You going to give her another chance?
Yeah. The only way this tramp's coming back to my school is under my dead body.
Oh, really? Well, look here, mister. I want to say something to you. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. Except stand here so I can read the prompter.
That was a clip from Nightstand with Dick Dietrich, my old show that Sam came on and did a bit for. Very funny. Sam Chu, welcome to the show. Actor, voiceover guy, soon to be an author, great old Philadelphian. We're going to talk about that coming up in the next segment. But Sam, I wanted to ask you, I was looking at your credits, and one of the things that jumped out was you did an episode of Here's Lucy with Lucille Ball.
That's right.
So, I mean, there's as big a legend in Hollywood as you, and they're still making movies about her. It's just, so what was she like? That's the simple question. What was she like?
Absolutely fabulous. The two most wonderful people I ever had the privilege of working with were Lucille Ball and James Garner.
Wow.
And I worked with Bill Conrad, on Cannon, and I did Ironside. I mean, I got to work with these huge stars. One of the other ones that was fabulous too was Glenn Ford. God, what
I've only heard that. Everybody you mentioned, I only heard great things about.
They were fabulous.
There's a Philadelphia twist is, when you're a guest star on a show, you're really not supposed to bother the stars of the show. Right. But I'm doing a Quincy and it was bored. I don't know, for whatever reason. Jack Klugman is over by himself, and it's kind of like, don't bother him. And I just couldn't help myself. And I just said, I think I said, like, what's your favorite cheesesteak or something? And it just opened up a conversation because Jack Klugman was from Philly. So he turned out to be a nice guy, but I had heard, like, stay away, stay away. So it's great to hear about James Garner and Lucille Ball. What about now? Who was horrible?
Lucy took a liking to me. I mean, the show was called My Greek Wedding, and I play this guy who marries a Greek girl, and we have a Greek thing where they break glasses and stomp on the tables and do everything. Yeah. And for some reason, she really liked me, and she lived right around the corner from me, and she invited me over, and I became really close to Desi and her daughter Lucy, and I used to go over there and have dinner. I mean, it was
really.
She was so down to earth, so sweet, and so wonderful and kind. And I never forgot it. I mean, what a privilege.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. So was there anybody who was just horrible? You don't have to answer the question.
Yes. No, I'll be honest about it.
Yeah.
I won't tell you who it was, but I'll just tell you quickly. I was signed to do a guest starring part on a show at Paramount.
Yeah.
And it was a very poignant scene where I play the son of a man that my father gets murdered. And this guy has to tell me that my father was murdered. And my father wasn't a criminal or anything. He was just shot. And I had a very emotional scene where I had to break down and everything else. And I was prepared for it. I was warned by the director before, when I got on, years ago, a director said to me, if you want to have a good career in Hollywood and save yourself, always be nice to everybody, but particularly the cinematographer, because they can leave you on the cutting room floor, which is true. But anyway, I was told by the assistant director and by the director, Sam, don't take offense to this guy because he's probably going to he'll do 2 shots. He will not work with you for your close-ups. And I said, well, that's fine. I don't need somebody standing. Normally they will. Anyway, he came in, he did his stuff. He barely even said hello to me or anybody else. And then he left. and he's got a very bad reputation. And I guess, can I say it?
Yeah, say it. That's what we're
All right.
waiting for.
All right. Well, I'll tell you who it was. It was William Shatner.
What? No, I'm
Yes,
just kidding.
William Shatner. Yeah, William Shatner.
Yeah.
Well, I could tell you other things about him that I can't say on the air, but no, he rides. You know, my son runs horse shows all over the country, and Shatner rode Tennessee Walkers for a while, and he was a big horse guy. But even in the horse world, nobody likes him. He was mean, and he wouldn't do a two-shot. He didn't even say after we finished our scene, and we did the master, and when we did my close-up, I was in tears, and as I was supposed to be, and that's all we had to do. We did one take, and we didn't have to do it again. But he just kind of left.
Is this on Star Trek?
No, it was called T.J. Hooker.
Oh, T.J. Hooker, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but that's the only bad experience I ever had in the business. Everybody I ever worked with.
Wow, good for you.
I did 2 movies with Sylvester Stallone, nicest guy in the world, not the Rockies, 2 other movies, greatest guy. We became buddies. I did 3 movies with Charlie Bronson, who was also this guy, because Paul Kohner was his agent, and Paul Kohner's son was my best friend, Pancho. So, I mean, I just, Bradford Dillman, who lived in Santa Barbara, Brad and I played FBI agents in one of these Bronson movies. And I'm telling you, it was a magical, magical life. And I was just lucky. But I did, as Tim can tell you, you got a network. I schmoozed a lot out there. I mean, I worked the social scene on both sides, not only with the showbiz people, but with the kind of, I went to parties that Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan were at. I mean, it was amazing.
That's crazy. It's funny when I moved to Santa Barbara, and I got an interview once with Roseanne to be her head writer. And I said, yeah, I live in Santa Barbara. She goes, Santa Barbara, where do you live? How you don't go to the parties? How do you get a job? And I said, it's true. It's there's a way, there is a networking in Hollywood that goes on. That's a party scene, and it's good to go to those parties. And we're smart at the time to do it. So, but I just love that you sort of caught Hollywood, because I got there in 79 and it was kind of over, but people hadn't accepted it yet. But they all talked about Hollywood and Southern California in the 60s and 50s, just like paradise, just no traffic, fun, no pressure, paradise.
It was. And I'll tell you, for those people who have not seen it, I would totally recommend, because it's exactly like it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's fantastic.
That movie is brilliant. It captures, I mean, I used to go down to the Whiskey A Go-Go and the whole thing, and the mood changed tremendously after the Manson murders. Everybody became paranoid.
Really?
Started locking their gates and locking their house, and that was the beginning of the end. And he depicted it in that movie brilliantly, I think.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, that movie, that's one of those movies, when it comes on, I just watch it. Godfather 2, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Goodfellas. It's like, okay, here's what I'm doing for the next 3 hours. I'm watching this movie. It's just one of those things. So we're coming up on our second break. And when we come back, another guest is going to join us. So we're going to talk about Sam's previous life before he came to Hollywood. But Paul, he's sort of an expert in this world, and he's an old friend. So we're going to come back. You're listening to It's Radio with TV's Tim Stack, and we'll be right back.